Good evening, everyone, and welcome to drinknectar.com. I'm your host, Josh Wade, and this is the internet's place to explore the five senses of coffee and wine. Tonight, we're doing another $10 and under challenge. My goal is to field a team of 9 superstars that are under $10 with a few players that are on the bench, maybe a few that are down in AAA that need to be brought up every once in a while. And the whole goal is to find some wine that I can trust, and hopefully can pass that along to you guys when you're in the grocery store to find some wines that you can trust. Before we jump in, I want to give some shout outs to some 3 people that are just doing great work out there. Encourage you to check out Josh at the Wine ACC Guy, Ben at Vinotology, and also Diva Tink, and that would be Cheryl, and all their information is scrolling across the bottom. So the first wine we're going to check out tonight is a Pinot Noir. Probably one of the most challenging wines to find for under $10. This is a Connoisseur from Chile, 2008, and as you saw, it was a screw cap, which doesn't mean anything negative, it just means that it's easier to break open. You lose some of the sexiness, I think, of a screw cap than you have with a cork, but let's give this the swirl. You can see that it is almost reminiscent of the color of this label here. No, it's a very translucent, pale purple, not quite as jewel tone as you would find or have found in some recent Pinot Noirs that I reviewed, but let's give it the sniff. I don't know, immediately I think of Christmas when I smell this wine because it smells green, and it is kind of on the red side of things, but it's a green-smelling wine, a little bit of tree and earthiness, twig in there. But you do have some strawberry that starts to creep through in the nose, and maybe a hint of some musky, smoky smell in there. But let's give it the sip. I like this wine. It's got a decent flavor on the front end. Some of that greenness starts to poke you in the back of the mouth, like a tree. You swallow a tree or ran into a leaf or something like that. My wife doesn't really particularly care for Pinot Noirs, but for $10, really impressed. It's not stinky, it's not dirty, has just enough fruit to be pleasing. So if you're looking for a decent Pinot Noir that you can find for under $10, this one may be one that fits the team. Next up on the list, we're going to be trying out, putting through the paces and batting practice here, the McManus Family Vineyards California Chardonnay. This one looks like a 2008. Also a screw cap. Kind of tricks you though, because it looks like a cork enclosure. Let's give this the swirl. It is kind of a light yellow straw color, not as yellow as a lot of Chardonnays, more along the lines of a darker Sauvignon Blanc. Well, let's give it the sniff. This wine immediately presents itself with some pear and some melon. Now starting to get a little bit of vanilla in through there in the back end, but really strikes me as something that's trying to be more of a Sauvignon Blanc than a Chardonnay. But let's give it the sip. You can tell it's a Chardonnay just because you have that rich Chardonnay flavor just on the very, very front end, but as it washes back across the back of the mouth, it really is something that's trying to poke through and be a Sauvignon Blanc. Very refreshing, almost has some sparkling wine qualities to it, where it has that effervescence that comes through. I would not be at all surprised to find out that this was fermented in stainless steel, but we'll find out when I do some research later. But it's not what I would. It's not a bad wine, but when I'm wanting a Chardonnay and I know I want a Chardonnay, I'm not sure that this one would fit the bill, even though it was only $8. All right, our last wine for review tonight that we're going to put through the paces. I believe this one is going to bring his A game. This is a Chateau Saint Michel Riesling from Columbia Valley. This is the 2008 vintage. This wine was only $6 and is a consistently high-quality Riesling produced from the largest producer in the state of Chateau Saint Michel. And so I'm excited to see what type of quality this wine brings. I've never had it before. Give it a swirl. Definitely on a lighter, pale side, almost water-like in clarity. Let's give it a sniff. Just some hints of melon, some tropical fruits in there. The nose is not dynamic, so let's give it the sip. Alright, this isn't what I would classify as a dry Riesling. It's probably more of an off-dry Riesling. Has some sweetness in there, some residuals, sugar that's coming through on it, but enough acidity on the back end to not feel like a sweet wine. Kind of comes down the back of the mouth a little dry, which is nice because the front palate is it's not very sweet, but it's semi-sweet on the front end. It's a great tasting wine, feels very refreshing, but doesn't present itself with a lot of flavor characteristics in there. This one, as far as that I can tell right now, being for only $6, we're going to add this into the starting lineup for our under $10 team, unless somebody comes in and knocks it out of the park and really starts to demonstrate some great playing quality. But for now, the Riesling has definitely made the team. The Connoisseur is one that we might put back in AAA just to bring up in case we can't find another one. The McManus, I'm really going to send back, I think, to AA, single A ball, not because it's a bad wine, but just because it's not representative of what I would want in a Chardonnay. So all in all, it's been a great session, I think, here. These guys brought their game into spring training. I look forward to some more of these tastings in the future. I hope you guys are enjoying a glass of wine, because wine is always meant to be enjoyed with friends. So open up a bottle of wine, pour yourself a glass, and drink happy.